going to talk about how to maintain motivation. And that in itself is hard. And then you put a pandemic on top of it. How are we supposed to continually grow our health coaching business during this time? I think we can all agree, you know, we don't know how long we're going to be here for. There's a lot of uncertainty. So we need to get to work, right? And we need to keep going with our business. So again, if you're just tuning in, I'm so happy you are here to join me, and post any questions or comments anytime. So whenever I do my group live chats, they're really casual. So if you have something that you want to talk about, just please put it in and I will look at it from time to time. But I do have everyone muted because I'm going to record. I'm recording this. We want to have a clean recording. One thing I always like to stress is just making this time count. We're going to be here maybe for about a half hour. But when we come to learn something, so often we are put in front of the most distracting thing, right? Our phones, our computers, wherever we are. So just turn off all distractions and make this time count, because this can make a difference. If I haven't met you before, let me just quickly introduce myself. I'm Lori Kearney. So I'm a certified integrative health coach. I graduated from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. I also have a degree in psychology and business. So I coach clients individually on their health goals. I do group counseling coaching as well. And I do wellness workshops for corporations. And I used to be at all the health food stores, but that is shut down right now. So I've been focusing all on virtual. So virtual clients, virtual workshops. So just trying to like reinvent and be creative in how I do business. And I also run seasonal online detox programs. So a couple of years ago, I had lots of health coaches asking me about my workshops and if they could buy it and all my advice on how to market. So I created workshopsdone.com. And so you can look at that. We're going to be having another class next month. So you probably have heard there's different kinds of motivation, right? So some of them is like that external reward. Maybe it's like wealth, it's fame, it's getting that kind of reward. And then there's that motivation, and this is what I'm going to talk about today, is that motivation that we find within ourselves, and that it's personally rewarding when we are doing something that feels like it's our purpose in life, and we want to keep doing that, and we're not having the burnout because we're doing something that we actually love, like health coaching. So also, I want you to feel free to make any kind of comments, that this is a no judgment zone, that I say this in my workshops with my corporate clients as well, that everyone is experiencing things in different ways, and especially this time of uncertainty and how they are navigating through the pandemic. So we need to give compassion to ourselves, empathy to others and ourselves. So just feel free to comment with anything that you feel you would like to talk about. So I want to hear from all of you in the chat room right now. Tell me about some of your biggest challenges that are going on right now with motivation. What is stopping you from moving forward or faster with your business? I know for me, what's hard is that the companies that I work with, they're like, oh, we're on a budget freeze, or we're only doing virtual, which is great. I love that they're still hiring me, but it's challenging because I'm not able to interact with people at the same time. So I want to hear from you. What are some of your challenges? I know even for myself, I've had like dips where I'm like, oh gosh, should I even be working on this today? And so it's important for us to find that motivation. So, okay, so Julie said, first of all, Lynn is from Mississippi. Hi, Lynn, I'm so glad. So Julie says, people are scared and not sharing much on my detoxes. Yeah, so a lot of people have online programs, and I have an online detox program as well. And, you know, we can always look at things from a different perspective. And one thing is that when you talk about like a detox and eating whole foods, people are like, oh my goodness, I'm cooking more than ever. They want to have new healthy recipes. And we have to think about coming at our sales strategy in a different way, from a different point of view. What are they thinking right now? They're like, wow, I do have more time at home because I'm not going to my kids', you know, football practices or band practice. Things have slowed down with activities. So it's a perfect time. And we have to remind people of that as well. Sometimes it's also doing the, you know, pay what you can version. I like, you know, if you say like, here are your 3 tiers, so you can pay $59, you can pay, or maybe $57, $77, or $97. Most people are going to pick the middle one from that. Oh, hi, Kathy. Kathy's here, and Kathy just moved to Wyoming. So Kathy, I was just saying before we started how I just moved. So I'm having my new office. I did do a corporate workshop last week, but this is the first time for all of the health coaches to see my new background, which, by the way, it keeps changing. So it's probably going to keep changing as I do these. But so I hope you're all settled in, Kathy, as well. But yeah, so, oh, Kathy just said she moved from a green state to a red state. Oh yeah, so very uncertain of what I want and how to start up again. Yeah, so Kathy, yeah, absolutely. You're going to have to do some research to reevaluate. But this is actually when we have these times in our lives that are super challenging. And it's not just a pandemic where we're all going through it. It might be an accident, a divorce, a move, right? There, any big life event. It's really good for us to pause and say, what do I want for my business? What do I want to do? And knowing that, you know, we truly are the only ones that are in charge of designing our own life. And for most of my life, I don't know why, but I didn't feel this way. Like I felt like the doctors are trying to tell me, like I put all the control in them to heal me. And it wasn't until I decided myself. And then I was in a marriage that wasn't good. And again, I just thought, I have control. I don't have to stay here. So we are the only ones that can design this life, and that includes our business. So what do we need to change in our daily schedule to grow a business? So we're going to talk a little bit about, you know, different kinds of motivation, things that we can do, but also actually practical things that we can do on a daily basis. So April's is commenting how to approach gyms and any kind of like doctors, chiropractors, anything like that. She feels like she's doing more busy work than actual offering. Yeah, so we have to decide like what feels right at this moment. I feel like, you know, when this first came out, I did not want to charge for anything. I just wanted to give away for free for that first month because that's where I was. Now I'm like, we're going to be here for a while. We need to do real business. And what a great opportunity to talk to gyms and like yoga studios is that they are hurting like crazy. So what a wonderful opportunity it is if you can give your gift to them and talk about doing virtual workshops to say, hey, I know that your membership is not what it used to be. I know that this is a struggling time, so I want to partner with you. And so you're both taking your list and their list, you're combining it together so that you can offer something. And yeah, and it's hard. So thank you for saying that. Yeah, keep coming with any of the comments. So one thing that I have realized in my life is that every time that I have been tested and felt really uncomfortable and unsure in my life, that is when leaps and bounds, I found a magic zone. And so we have to also embrace this time and go, okay, I'm not going to sit back and do nothing. We need to do something and really lean into this discomfort. I think that most of my life, and I know with many of the coaches I've coached and also with my clients, we're kind of told to not go outside that comfort zone and just stay in this little bubble. But we really need to think about how when we stay small in our business and in our life, we are being selfish because there are people that are waiting to hear from us and they are suffering. They have, you know, knee pain, maybe they have depression, maybe they have an autoimmune disease, and they have no idea that there are holistic ways and different ways to heal. And so they need to hear from you. So there is no passion to be found in playing small at all. We cannot settle for a life that is less than one that we're actually capable for. And I know, like, I have not met one health coach that I felt like, wow, they are just so inspiring. I love their their inspiration and their passion for others, for helping others, that it's the little things that I see that hold people back. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what holds people back and how to move past that as well. So one of the first things with motivation, and I 100% do this because it works, is we need to set goals, plan, and prioritize. Now, Kathy, I'm not sure if you built a new house, but I'm just thinking, like, you know, if you were trying to build a house, you wouldn't just be like, oh yeah, let's just go to the store and get a bunch of wood and let's get some toilets and some things and some doors. No, I mean, we would have to sit and make a plan. And so often in business, I hear coaches kind of going from one thing to the next, but not really having this big plan for a business plan. So we need to think about what is important and what really matters to getting to that bottom line. So a lot of the things that we need to do that we don't always want to do are the hard things, the things that we've never done before, like, you know, calling up an owner of your local gym and saying like, hey, let's have a conversation. You know, we both are having some hard times, so let's have a conversation and see how we can help each other. Is that uncomfortable if you don't know somebody? Yeah, it is. But when we do hard things, what happens to our emotions, right? We feel really grateful for ourselves. We feel more healthy. We feel more motivated to do things because these hard things really ultimately build up our lives, right? And they change us. They give us that resilience that we need. So when we are doing things right now, what I have found is that I might not be doing the big things that I was doing. So I can still play big by celebrating all the small wins that I have throughout the day, the small wins that I have each week, each month, and look at it in that way, saying, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going. It just looks different. This one was one that was hard for me at first because I'm like, no, I don't want to pay anyone to do anything for me. But we really need to think about what drains us in our business and delegate where we can and work smarter. So creating that dream team to surround yourself with motivated people. And sometimes it's just this, right? It's being part of a tribe, being part of, you know, a group of health coaches that all want to move forward with wellness workshops, with getting their information out. We're surrounding ourselves with like people that also want the best for you. So we are never stuck, right? We are never stuck unless we decide we are. And when I am coaching coaches, what I hear so often is they're stuck with technology. And I am the same way. So I have a virtual assistant who just helps me with the really hard technical stuff that I, you know, when it's about, you know, yes, I can do an automated email, but when it goes through Zapier and all this, and I have all these different rules, I'm like, here, this is what I need. Can you just do it? And it's more efficient of my time because then I'm truly working on the things that I love and where my passion is and what I am good at. And so when I give up more time to have that be expressed and not this draining part of it, I feel more alive and I feel that I'm not stuck. So we need to sometimes go, okay, I have this dream, right? And it's wonderful. Let's start doing something about it and putting something out there. And it does not have to be perfect. I mean, I think a lot of people have probably heard the quote, you know, just have it done instead of being perfect. Because if we wait and we keep saying, I don't want to put this detox out, I don't want to do this group health coaching online yet because it's not perfect, we learn on the job, right? So we need to just start doing it. And every experience we have is a purpose for us. We need to have those experiences for us to learn. So when we encourage others, what happens? We are more encouraged ourselves because when we're making a commitment and a difference in that person's life, you know, encouragement really does make a difference. So when we are actually working our jobs, we're helping ourselves at the same time. So it's great for that. I'm just going to come into the chat room real quick. Bobby says, I'm drowning in virtual tech work. It's taking up so much time. Yeah, and Bobby, and I was the same way. And I am like, I feel like I have a YouTube education in so many things because I was like, okay, I need to learn how to do this technical thing. Now, there's some things that depending on where you are, if it's like posting on Facebook, and if you're not quite sure how to do that, you do need to learn how to do that yourself because sometimes those are last minute things. But if it's something that's more complex, like setting up an opt-in page for a virtual workshop you're doing and you want to set, you know, you have your email, but you want to have it all set up, you can hire someone and it's just on a contract basis. So I do it, I think it's $30 an hour, and then I give her about $400 at a time. She tells me when we're out, and we go from there, and I just work with her when I need her. Now, sometimes when you have just on a contract, they might not be ready that day. If you're like, I need it right now, so you have to plan in for that. Yeah, so Bobby saying, I am YouTube University, but seriously, yeah, it is, I hear this so much from health coaches that the tech part is drowning them. So see what you can do. And I get it. It's hard to pay somebody else. So I have one of my yoga students used to be a teacher, and she is now going into her retirement. And so I pay her to be my editor. Well, she just wants to get paid cash, and I pay her $10 an hour. So it's hardly anything, right? But she loves that I give her flexibility, that we discuss things. She likes being a part of my group. And I use her for other things than just editing. So you can even think about, is there somebody in your network, in your family, in your friends that can offer you that technical support, that can offer you something? And you're helping them out. Maybe they don't even need the money and they just want to do it just to help you. So I also feel that when we are talking about who is the most successful leaders, and a leader is all of us, right? We are all leaders because we are inspiring other people to make a change, and that is a leader. So successful leaders really see that opportunity in every difficult situation rather than a difficulty in every opportunity. So looking at this pandemic as, okay, how can I rethink this? And how is this going to help me? Well, there's a lot of people that are spending more time at home. They are reevaluating their lives. They're thinking about how they're eating. They're thinking about how their toxic thoughts. They're reevaluating their relationships with their kids, with their husbands, with their wives. So there's a lot of that going on right now, and health coaches need to be out there to help them. So another thing that is smart when you can delegate is just using done-for-you materials to save time and energy. My first program I bought was Detox Done. And I thought, oh my gosh, this was the best investment ever, because there is no way I would have even known how to put everything together. And then with Workshops Done, if that was available when I first started, I would have hands down bought it, because it takes me, over a month to write a workshop. And then every time I present it, I change it. And so after I keep doing it, I've been doing this for years now. So it's getting to a formula. So finding things that are already done for you, so that PowerPoint, speaker notes, all the marketing, you don't have to think about it. It doesn't take all that much energy. Also, just commit for the long haul. So often I hear some coaches say, oh, I'm just doing this on the side. But we have to commit that we're going to be doing this till we're, 50, 60, 70, whatever age you want to go. I think this is like my job for life. I don't know why I would retire from it, because this is so enjoyable and I love it. So what can you do to commit? I love this quote by Eleanor Roosevelt. She says, you gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You are able to say to yourself, I have lived through this horror. I can take the next thing that comes along. You must do the thing that you think you cannot do. And so how can you commit to working on your business, whether if you do have a full-time job, do you have more time now? Are you not having that commute, that you can commit more to it, that maybe you have this plan, when we talked about goals and plans and evaluates, what can you do to make this a reality? All of our dreams absolutely can come true, right? We just have to have the courage to pursue these dreams. And like we talked about, doing it and not just thinking it. So hands down, this is the best way that I find confidence, and I see it in coaches all the time. So when we are not active with this inaction, it breeds doubt and fear. When we overthink something, oh, I don't want to do this virtual workshop. I might make a mistake here. But when people go out and they do it, right? How do you feel? How do you feel after you give a workshop? How do you feel after a health coaching, client session, right? This action breeds confidence, and it also has, you feel more courageous. And courageous is not, it's feeling the fear, but it's doing it anyway, right? So if you want to conquer that fear, we can't just sit at home or sit on our computer and be just socially on Facebook, right? We can't just think about it all the time. We need to go out and actually get busy and have a plan. So there's only one thing that makes a dream impossible to achieve, and that is that fear of failure. And I hear this all the time. So I want you to think about this from a different mindset, that every mistake we make, we are learning something so valuable. So there is no mistakes. There absolutely is nothing wrong that you can do, because if you think about the worst case scenario, you launch something and you only get 5 people to sign up. Well, you know what? You got to learn how to run that program and have a connection, a closer connection with those 5 people. And how can you revamp that next time? What can you do differently? So we have to think about that. We just need to move forward without any fear of failure at all. So I'm going to talk a little bit now to switch gears about when we're making that commitment for the long haul, how are we going to work our days? I'm going to talk about 2 different ways of working. And I want to hear from you guys in the chat room, like, what do you do during the day? Do you work, so if you're full-time, do you work, 8 to 5 and you take an hour break for lunch? Do you work, 2 hours a day? What is it? So there are lots of studies, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen this, that with the rhythms, right? We have the circadian rhythms, how we sleep, but there's also rhythms to the workday. So one of the theories is that we work for 90 minutes straight, and we are at our peak brainwave, right? We are just concentrating well, we're focused. And so you want to do the hardest thing, like eat that frog, the hardest thing the first 90 minutes of your day, because you are so refreshed. But what often happens is that we continue to work, right? It's 90 minutes. Now it's 120 minutes. Now it's, 3 hours, and we've been sitting at our desk this entire time. So we need to take a break, because when we take a break, our brain can refresh and we can be better at working those next 90 minutes. So it sounds counterintuitive. I know. It's like, what? You want me to not work? Yeah, I want you to not work sometimes. So this is one of the theories that you can do. The other one is, I'm sure you've all heard of this technique. So with this, what it means like tomato in Spanish, and yeah, in Spanish. And so you know how there's like the kitchen timers, some of them look like a red tomato or a green tomato. So that's where this name came from. But this is where, and I love this as well. So I set the timer, and I use an app on my phone, so you can just search for this, and it just goes, the timer goes for 25 minutes. Then the alarm is going to go off. And by the way, like the app I have, it has like ticking noise for that 25 minutes. I turn it down so I just barely hear it, but it's almost like it's creating this urgency. It's also helping us to stay focused. So for that 25 minutes, you pick a task and you're like, for the next 25 minutes, I'm only going to do this. There might be a text message that comes through. There might be a Facebook message comes through. There's going to be all these different distractions, right? So nope, you are just going to be focused on one task. We all know, studies show, multitasking does not work. It causes more stress in us. So we work on that task, the timer rings, then you take a 5-minute break. Now, for my 5-minute break, I usually will drink more water, then I get more water, I go to the bathroom, sometimes I grab a snack. I always get up and stretch. I never sit in my chair. What you want to do in that break is something outside of your computer, outside of your phone. Get outside if you can. And then you do this 3 or 4 times. And after like that 4th time, then you take like a 30-minute break and you really refresh, again, away from your computer. Now, sometimes that 20 minutes will go, 25 minutes timer will go off, and I'm really into something, and I will just keep going for 2 of those. And so now you're kind of going back to that first method that we talked about, right? That circadian rhythm, that maybe there are going to be times that you are going to go 2 or 3 of these timers, but then you need to take a longer break at the end. So I would just highly suggest trying both of these methods and see what works for you. But because we're in the world of distractions are everywhere, what I am finding is that people say, well, I tried to work on this, I started to work on this, I'm in the middle of this, but we're not actually finishing a project from start to finish. And so saying, okay, my first 25 minutes is going to be working on social media. So the first 25 minutes, I'm going to do all my Facebook group post. And then the next one, I'm going to be working on writing, you know, something on Twitter or whatever ones that you choose. But the more we can be focused, especially in social media, there's many different ways to be more productive with our time and use things that you can post in different places as well. So this one, I know I don't really have to preach to the choir here, but I know I have needed to hear this. So I'm thinking some of you might need to hear this. But that's like just taking care of ourselves. And sometimes, many times, I work too hard. And I realized that, okay, when I am most effective is when I'm happiest and I'm taking care of myself, and I could be a good mom, a good friend, a good coach to everybody. And that means I like to practice yoga every day. I like to take a walk every day. I like to eat good, nutritious food to fuel my body in the right way. So how can you take care of yourself and find that balance with your work and with your personal life and with your health? And so often when we talk about like taking care of ourselves, we think about the body, but we also need to think about mind, body, and soul. And it's essential, especially right now during this pandemic, for us to take care of our mental health. So it's okay to take more breaks, but I also don't want people to use that as an excuse. I've also heard coaches comment and say, well, you know, there's nothing really I can do right now. Is that the truth? You know, there are a lot of things that we can keep working on, and then again, balance it with meditation throughout the day, things that we can take care of ourselves as well. So the number one thing, and I think every single health coaching client we have had to talk about this, because really, how do you talk to yourself? Do you talk to yourself like somebody that loves you? And if you are talking to yourself that you're not good enough and that you can't do a virtual workshop, you are not good at the marketing, no one's going to show up, guess what's going to happen? Exactly what you're thinking. So we need to talk to ourselves like our best friend and acknowledge if we are not and what we need to do. So stick to your work hours. So I like to have, so my work hours are like 9 to 5:30 Central Time. That's kind of my basis. And sometimes, and I'm challenged with this, but when I can be unplugged at 5:30, shut my computer and not go back, sometimes I'll work till 6 and then I can be done. I feel I can relax more. I am more refreshed the next day. So studies show we are more productive when we can unplug after hours, when we can take real breaks throughout the day, when we can take real vacations and get away from the phone, get away from all of the electronics, and really nourish yourself at that time. So a lot of us have been worrying so much about this uncertainty. Just remember, you know, worrying is unnecessary and it serves no purpose. We think it does, right? So we have to challenge every thought. We have to challenge all these things that say we can't do something, because is it really true? It's probably not. It's probably something that we put it in our own heads. So positive attitudes go a long way in business. When we have these negative emotions, think how draining it is on your energy, right? And when you have a positive attitude and you are enthusiastic about what you do, you feel that positive energy, right? And you feel that you can flow through the day and flow. That's the word, right? We flow so easily. But when we talk about this isn't working for me, I can't do this, we get stuck. And we're stuck in our own heads. So thinking about, you know, with each of us, every single one, and this is absolutely true, we all have a spark of greatness, you know, and the spark can be fanned into flames of passion and achievement. This spark is not outside of us. I mean, every single one of us was born with this. And so we have to remember that we have this, and we have this beautiful purpose that we have been given to help other people heal. And so that spark and that passion needs to be shown to other people. So what can we do? Well, we can absolutely choose our response to any situation. So when you are talking to your neighbors, your friends, your family, and it's a lot of negativity around you, you can choose maybe not to talk to those people as much, or talk to them about changing the attitude and talking more about how when we change our thoughts, we completely change our life. So we need to focus on that positive. It's easy to get frazzled by, our shortcomings, very easy. And so many times people focus on what they did wrong instead of like the 98 things they did right. There's the 2 things that maybe they did wrong, but make a commitment to observe all these amazing things that you can do. Abundance and gratitude will spill over into all areas of your lives. The more grateful I feel, the more abundant I feel, like more of it keeps coming back to me. So notice where your attitude is right now, because right now a lot of people are up and down, including myself. And just know, when we can make that purpose bigger than our fear, we get to that other side. And everything that we wanted to help people is on that other side of fear. So at the end of each day, at the end of each week and month and quarter, it's good to reflect on the day. Like, how did it go? Oh, you know what? I was on Facebook messaging my college friend for an hour. That wasn't a good use of time. Or reflecting on, wow, I used, the method of working 90 minutes and then taking a 20-minute break, and look at everything I did. So we want to make sure that we are talking about what we can do, what we're doing great, and do more of it, and where can we see the opportunities for growth. Again, they're not mistakes, they're just opportunities. We're just going to be finishing up here, but I just want to say, like, because I'm a health coach myself, I see you all, and I want you to know that you are all amazing, right? You are courageous. You are all resilient. I encourage you to follow your intuition, your heart, your dreams, like walk through this fear, stay the course, and just don't give up at any time. We all got this, and I think the more that we all can come together, like virtual hugs to everybody, right? Literally come together and help each other out, the more we can grow together. I'm just going to come into the chat room here. And I just want to hear from some of you, like, what did you feel like resonated with you today? Like, what is something that you feel that you can do to help bring that motivation into your workplace? Is it going to be doing some of the time management? Is it going to be writing down your goals? Like for me, actually, I don't have my notebook with me, but the night before, I write down my whole day, like what I'm going to eat, what I'm going to work on for those 25-minute sections, because then I don't have to make a decision. It's already done for me. I'm like, this is what I'm going to be doing today. Do I get off track? Absolutely. Things happen. All of a sudden, a child needs to get driven to work or something happens, but that's okay. We still have it as a guide of what we need to accomplish that day. So are you going to work on maybe being more positive? Maybe, having something that is going to be where you delegate to someone in your family to help with some tech work, or to actually getting a virtual assistant. So I want to hear in the chat room, what are some of the things that you think that you might be able to do to help with this motivation, and to keep that inspiration within you? Yeah, so Liz says she loves the time management. So Liz, what do you think is going to work for you? And a lot of times it is like trying different things, like for a full week, to say, I'm committing myself to doing this one way, writing it down and doing the 90-20. The next week, I'm going to be doing, 4 times of 25 minutes with my 5-minute break, see how that works. But the thing is that just putting anything into place for time management and to get those distractions away from us helps tremendously. Yeah, so Lisa says, I need better time management. Okay, Mary said, yay, she says she hired someone to help with technology. Yeah, oh, I'm so glad, Mary, because that I've heard from you so many times that that's where you felt stuck. And when I first started too, years ago, I was like, gosh, I haven't worked in Excel for a while. And that's how I started my accounting in Excel. Now I use QuickBooks, and I have a CPA that I have hired on a monthly basis. And so it kind of like involved like, okay, I took a little class at the library about Excel. Then I would decide to go to QuickBooks. Then I went with a CPA. So it's like, you don't have to like go to the big thing right away. But I love that, like for Mary, you have the same issue as so many health coaches. It's about finding people that can help you so you move forward. If you feel that you are getting stuck, you need to make a decision to do something else. Yeah, so Lynn says, I love the idea of the little time management sections. Makes it seem easier to get so much more accomplished. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and would you guys want to do any of this together? In another group, we do we do like 20, we get together and we say, okay, we're gonna go for 25 minutes. And we all like chat and say, this is what I'm going to work on for the next 25 minutes. I'm going to be working on my Stress Busters workshop. The first thing is putting my logo on everything. And then we take a 5-minute break and then we stretch, and then the next 25 minutes, everyone's like, okay, now I'm going to be working on, reviewing the speaker notes. Okay, and then the next 25 minutes, okay, now I'm actually going to be practicing, so we're not actually seeing each other as we're working. We're just keeping each other accountable for being where we are. So let me know if you feel like that would be helpful. We can set that up and have maybe like some 1.5 hour, like 90-minute sessions to help each other to stay accountable. Okay, so Lisa says, yeah, she still works full time. I need to make my business a priority. So Lisa, what does that look like for you when you say business as a priority? Is your goal eventually full-time health coaching, or is your goal to do this in the evenings and the weekends? And what does that look like for you? So I think there's a lot, whether you're full-time or part-time, there's a lot that we need to think about because success, right? The definition of success looks different for everyone. Like Maya D'Angelo says, success is basically just liking what you do for a job and liking who you are doing it. And I know there's a lot of people who are working some jobs that don't feel that way, and they want to transition to health coaching. So, so having that schedule of how that looks to you is really important. Liz says, I've scheduled all month social media posts ahead of time, as well as newsletters. Big game changer, a peace of mind. Absolutely, absolutely. So, in our workshops Facebook page, I like to post something every Monday morning about Monday motivation, because I think it's important for us every Monday morning to go, I am awesome, I'm unstoppable, I can do this week, I'm going to conquer this. And because I love that, I make all my posts on Mondays, and I schedule them all out there. So I'm not taking that 5 minutes of energy every single Monday morning to do it, right? So yeah, so Liz, I agree with you, like social media posts, especially when we can take and batch our things together, right? So we're batching like for 25 minutes, we're gonna just work on making Facebook posts. The next 25 minutes, we're just going to be scheduling those Facebook posts, right? So when we can batch those, but so often we'll do something and then we see an email come in and then we go do that. And then we see a Facebook and then we're like, oh yeah, I was doing this before. And then at the end of the day, you're like, what did I actually get done? I started a lot of projects. So yeah, so it's a big game changer to write all your emails together. And sometimes things, you get a spark of interest or inspiration, you do something else. So Ela says, I will have to get help for technology for sure, since that has become a big obstacle. Yeah, and do you have somebody in your network, somebody in your family? Because sometimes, even like an older child can help us, right? That you're just like, hey, I just need your help like 1 hour a week or 2 hours a week. What can I do? Maybe even trading out a business. I know I've done some trade outs for like my detoxes, like for professional photography, where they're like, oh, I want to do your detox, but I don't have the money right now. And I'm like, hey, maybe we should trade then, let's do the photography and then you can do this. So there are some things that you can be creative with, maybe trading some business with somebody that is with good in technology, but maybe, you know, they have, they're overweight. Maybe they have a pain issue. Maybe there's something that you can help them with. Okay, Mary's saying, love the new office. Do you think it's too busy though? I don't know. So see what, yeah. And then I need to have a big calendar up. That's another thing. And I actually have 2021. It just came in the mail. Because I like to also see what is my goal for the year. And so right now I'm already starting to plan fourth quarter of next year, because if you're doing, you know, group health coaching and you're doing detoxes and you're doing virtual workshops, all of those, it's not like it's just the day, right? You need to plan for the promotion of it. You need to plan for writing all the promotional pieces for it, right? So it's like, okay, what can I do each month and then when you do book more workshops, like those single ones for corporations, I have done, you know, I've done 7 in a day, but it's like, it's crazy when you, it's nice if you could just do like 1 in a day and not be going from one thing to the next to the next. It's crazy. It's fun, but it's crazy. And you definitely need to plan a self-care day after you go like days with that. So Bobby says she needs to stay laser focused on reaching out to people personally to fill her August 24th 5-day detox. No one signed up yet and it's killing me. 75 sales page views, but no takers. I can't get discouraged, but I do need to take breaks because it's a grind. Yeah, so Bobby, first of all, it's August 11th today. So you have time, and a lot of people sign up for online programs when the early bird discount ends, which I know, I wish everyone just signed up right away the first time. And we think that we're like crazy promoting, but people just kind of see our stuff every now and then. Like they're not really paying attention. So we have to remind them. But yeah, I 100% can't emphasize this enough. Agree with you. Personal messages is the way to go. So, you know, that's definitely one of my keys to success, especially early on, is that anybody who I feel like would be a good fit, I personally messaged. So yes, you have all of these things in social media and emails, but think about it. When somebody messages you or text message you or says, you know, hey, April, you know, thanks so much for joining me on the webinar. This was so great. I love your glasses, you know, whatever, you know, whatever you want to say that's like personal about them. And then you can have like maybe a stock paragraph that you're copying and pasting to everybody else. Or to be like, oh, I miss you, you know, seeing you at the soccer games. But I know, you know, we've talked about before that, you know, you're looking for new recipes for your family, some healthy recipes. The next person, you can be like, hey, I know that you've talked about, you know, clearing up your skin, and I have this coming up. So different way, you know, so there's a different intro, and it makes somebody go, oh, you know, Bobby is really listening to me. She hears that I have this pain. Oh, somebody has pain in their knee. Guess what? You know, we're going to take out all the gluten. And that's what typically creates pain in our, that could be the reason. So let's see, let's do this experiment together, and I'm going to be with you. But yeah, I can't get discouraged. Yeah, it's just saying to yourself, I got this, right? And just continue, instead of saying don't, you rephrase it into a positive. So you're just continually bringing out that positive message. Like, people are coming to me. Like I can picture, you know, 30 people in my detox, how much fun it's going to be. Who are those people? Really work the warm lead list. So Lisa says, I'm a nurse practitioner, but want to work for myself. I want a virtual job that I can make my own schedule. I don't know how to do social media posts in advance. Okay, so Lisa, so first of all, I think anybody who's like a health coach and has any kind of nursing background, I'm like, they just have an up. Their resume looks wonderful, and virtual is the way to go right now. One thing I do love about doing a lot of virtual, it's like I give a webinar and then I'm done. Instead of driving, most of my clients are downtown Minneapolis, which for me is a good 30 minutes, then parking, right? And so having the virtual group health coaching, the virtual clients, it does make it that you can really create your own schedule. So yeah, and then Lisa, either learning about social media posts or hiring somebody out, but that would be something that I would say would be a good thing to learn for that. Oh, thank you guys so much for all these comments. I'm gonna keep coming down and keep posting. Mary says, I think the work sessions are a great idea. As far as your office, I would move the screen and the chair and place another bookshelf there. Oh, do you want to know something? I have another shelf. I don't know if I should show you because I have like my to-do list over here, but I have another shelf just like this in front of me. And that's what I had last week. I had it over there. And I'm like, you know, just try different things. But I love, thank you. Oh, love the tree. Yay. So yeah, so keep posting if you have anything else that you have comments. I'm just seeing if I missed anything. I think the main thing that I'm hearing is from everybody is time management and delegating. It sounds like those are the two things that are the most, and then maybe that positive mindset. So I want you to not just that you, yes, you are here and you're present and you heard this information. I don't believe education always goes over to transformation. So write down, like right now, like what are you going to do? If you are thinking time management is your issue, are you going to be doing one of those messages for this, those time managements for this week? What are you going to do for the next week after that? If it's the positive thoughts, what are you going to do about that? You know, so just write it down as soon as we get done and have a plan so that you can reevaluate and go forward. And I also just want to let you all know, some of you are already Workshop STEM members, some of you are not. We are going to be having another immersion class starting in September. So enrollment is open right now if you want to get a jump start, because it's all on-demand videos. But the immersion class will start in September. So there'll be another opportunity to book, but there's going to be the bonus. So you get 4 done for you workshops, and then the main thing is that I give you every little detail about what you need to book, promote, and get a lot of people to in-person and virtual workshops. So it is definitely the best investment you can make in your business, because you can make, when we talk about like making money at health coaching, like I wouldn't be able to do this if I wasn't doing workshops, because that's a huge part of my income. And then the people who are at the workshops are the ones that are asking me to health coach. And so it's a circular thing that if you don't do workshops, how are you going to find your people? Then you have to be like a salesperson and find people, like let them find you. So, oh, Liz says, it's awesome, sign up. Thank you, Liz, thank you. Okay, Mary says, have to go. I need to go too. It's been 50 minutes, but thank you guys so much for tuning in today. If you have any feedback or comments, please message me directly, or if you want to just talk about workshops done, I would love to do that. I give everyone, you know, like a free half-hour just conversation, and it's like, hey, let's just see if it's a right fit for you or not. But thanks, everybody. Wishing you a happy day, a productive day. Bye-bye.